You're listening to
Northern Light Public Radio
on 102.7
KCHW.
Tooele.
Listen in as the Tooele Arts Guild and KCHW 102.7 bring you artists on the air, here to present their local flair.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to KCHW. We'd like to present to you Artists on the Air. This is a presentation from the Tooele Arts Guild. Now for your host, Diane Evans. Take it away, Diane.
Hi, Chuck.
Hi, Diane. How are you?
Here again for Artists on the Air. Season 2, Episode 3, Chuck.
Do you believe it already?
Yeah.
Isn't it wild?
3, Season 2.
Crazy.
Yeah. Okay, so we've had fun, interesting artists the past 2 weeks. We had Julie Everson and Greg Schmitz. And then we had Susan and Wayne Patterson.
We did.
And so now we have a really special guest. But before we dive into this interview, I want to say a few words about the Taste of Tooele Art Auction. This art auction is our one and only annual fundraiser. We are so grateful to our local artists who so generously donate a piece or two of their art for the silent art auction. And this happens at the brewery on Thursday, September 18th, starting at 4:30. And this is in conjunction with the really fun event, Taste of Tooele.
Yeah. Diane, I'm having a hard time getting you on the microphone. I'm not sure if maybe we're having a problem with that mic or what's going on. I'm just having sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. We're just having some technical difficulties here. Stand by.
The one thing I really want them to hear.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
The one thing I really want them to hear is my introduction for this guest.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I don't want to say, because I just said that we've had some really interesting guests on the air, but this guest is really, really extra special to me. So this afternoon, I am interviewing our daughter, Maggie Evans. So welcome, Maggie.
Hi, everybody, and Mom. So good to be here. Oh, yay.
She comes all the way from Spokane. And
yes.
I really could, ask the questions, and I really could answer the questions because I've grown up with Maggie, so I know all about her. So. But anyway, I'm going to let her tell her story. So we're going to start off, Maggie, as we start off with everybody. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Ooh, just a little bit.
Oh, well.
Okay. Well, let's see. I'm an artist. First, I'm a mother second. Maybe I'm a mother first. Those two might be interchangeable. I am a therapist in private practice in Spokane. My practice is exclusively online, and I work with women all over Washington state, processing through some kind of chaos in their lives. I'm a pet owner. I have 5 chickens, a dog, 2 cats, and a cute little piece of corner of land on the South Hill in Spokane where I continue to try to garden. That's a little bit about me.
I like how you say try to garden. I connect with that.
Yeah. I just feel like I keep trying. I don't ever feel like I really get good at it yet.
Someday I might be able to grow something without killing it or letting it get overtaken by the weeds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, weeds.
Figure out how much to water it so it gets bigger.
My biggest hope is that someday I will care enough to be able to try to take it from keep it from getting taken over by the weeds. Yeah,
that's the other thing. This is about when I stop caring because it's too hot to do anything outside.
So,
right?
Maggie, I know the question to the answer to this question, but tell your listening audience, where did you grow up?
I grew up here in Chewelah. This is not where I was born. I was born in remote western Alaska and ended up here when I was a few months old with my parents. And this is where I spent my whole childhood until 18 when I moved away and went to college.
And what brought you back to Chewelah, having left for many years?
Yeah, so I went to college and grad school away, and then I had most recently been in Boulder, Colorado, and moved back to Spokane to be closer to my family, to my parents, to raise my son with grandparents around. Yeah, it's been good.
You.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been good, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been really sweet.
That's got to be nice. We tried to do that when we went here, but I think we moved a little bit. We moved about 4 hours away from my parents, my kids' grandparents, and I think that was just a little bit too far away. They need to
Little
move
too
closer.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not. I'm not moving. They need to move closer to us.
this is a good distance. You know, we live like hour and a half from
Yeah.
each other. It's a good distance.
I like that. That is good.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's talk about you as an artist, because that's really why we're here, and it's a really big, important part of your life. Always has been, as far as I know. And so how long have you been doing art, Maggie?
Yeah, when anybody ever asked me this, it used to be when I was working as a professional seamstress, people would say, "How long have you been sewing?" I would always answer, "Since I was in the womb." Always. Like, I can't remember a time that I wasn't making stuff. So as long as I can remember, Mom. Yeah.
That's how I remember it too.
Yeah. On the ledge in the dining room kitchen, and the white cabinets full of Fimo clay and construction paper and puppet making books and beads, and we always had a big roll of white butcher paper too, constantly. I don't know if that was just one roll or if you resupplied, replenished it. Yeah, just
What was it? The big roll of construction paper?
it was a big roll of butcher paper, just white butcher paper. So
That's the best thing.
we did so many things.
Enough to cover the whole table.
The
And
whole floor.
The whole floor, the whole
Ooh.
table. We did all kinds of stuff with that paper.
That is fantastic.
Yeah.
I have a big roll in my storage shed of construction paper that's about 8 feet tall.
Yeah.
It's brown, but it's like brown craft paper that I've been
Ooh,
dying
that's fun.
I've been dying to do something with it for years, and it's just been sitting in my storage room.
Oh, that sounds fun.
And I just don't know what to do with it.
Oh, yeah.
I bet you guys could give us some ideas.
Well, it's hard to be an artist and not collect supplies, right, Chuck?
Right?
Yeah.
So how does art affect your life, Maggie?
How does art affect my life? The answer that I jotted down, which feels true, is that it's the lens that I look through all the time. I think I just think creatively all the time. So that's kind of maybe a more broad answer to your question. Specifically when it comes to art, I would say, how is my life affected by art? Because my art making is usually I would say compulsive, and not in an unhealthy way, but it's like my art muse demands attention and demands to be, recognized. So then I need to engage in some kind of art making, some kind of materials. So does that answer your question?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, where do you get ideas for your art?
Yeah, I mean these are such good questions, Mom, to reflect on before I came. So thinking about some of my like heavy art making periods in my life, or pieces of art that I've made that feel really significant, have come from either my dream life or active imagination experiences I was having in therapy. So, art for me, and this was true when I was a kid, like it's always been my way of processing through things. It's like the way that I've metabolized life. And so that has just continued to be true. Like some of my significant pieces have been inspired by dreams or work that I had been doing in therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you want to describe one of your significant pieces of art?
Are you thinking of something in particular?
Yes, I have a few, but you tell me.
Well, when I was living in Colorado, I did a whole show around my relationship with my grandfather, my dad's father, who passed away when I was 3, whom I think I did and I still have a pretty significant relationship with, like in a different realm. And what I realized when I was working through my art and my process at that time, it was about 10 years ago, was when he passed away, there's a part of me that went with him. And so my work at that time was to invite my little self back. And so that was what my art pieces were about. We're touching into that time and that relationship and like making myself whole again.
Mm-hmm.
Is that
You also, it was previous to that time, you also made a quilt. You stitched your family tree on a quilt.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Oh.
I actually printed. It was like I hand carved linoleum blocks and printed the family tree. Is that what you're thinking of? And then I cut it up and made it into a quilt for my brother. Yeah. Yep.
That's cool. What size quilt was it?
Huge.
Huge.
It was a huge size. It was a huge size quilt.
Yeah. Yeah, it covers their what?
They're like
Queen
king or queen size bed.
Yeah. It's really cool.
I have a bit of an obsession with quilts. They're the best bedding you can. They're cool in the summer, warm in the winter.
Yeah.
They're everything you could ever possibly want in bedding.
So I'm gearing up to make another quilt. I'm not a quilter. I am
right.
All you quilters out there, amazing quilters. I am not one of you, but I do love to hand sew, and I have inherited many linens from my great aunt on the same side, on my dad's side. Napkins and kitchen towels and old linens with her initials embroidered on them. So I'm gonna make a quilt, I think this winter.
Wow.
Out of those pieces.
We have a quilt that was started by my wife's great grandmother with her great grandmother when she was a child, using only the or maybe she was in her 20s. I don't think she was quite a child, but using the flour sacks from the Depression era from like the
cool.
1930s. It's all hand stitched. It's unfinished. It's just the top, but a lot of the stitching has come undone over the years, and it needs to be redone and then have a base put on it. Someday we're gonna get to it.
I have 2 quilts. I have 2 quilts from each side of my family, and one of them was stitched by my namesake, Grandma Maggie. Right? Yeah.
And that's on your bed.
It's not on my bed, because I don't want my dog to
Oh, yeah, thank
But
you.
it's folded up and nicely displayed in my room.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, you've talked some about sewing. That was a significant part of your art life for a long time. So,
Yeah.
tell us where that sewing and career took you.
Yeah, so sewing fibers, fiber arts, textiles, that was my jam when I was growing up. I can just picture the bed that I had upstairs and like all of the shallow boxes slid underneath the bed with all the different supplies, and my aunt used to give me boxes of remnants of fabric and I don't know, cotton thread that I crocheted Barbie clothes out of. And yeah, so I went from sewing and playing with textiles in my bedroom to going to school at Western Washington University and getting a degree in an art degree in textiles. So I learned to weave and print fabric and silkscreen and embroider and basically just an enhanced version of what I was already doing, right? I was just like working through and processing life through this particular art form. And I was also sewing for the theater company at Western. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I worked in the costume shop. And then after I graduated, I got a job working in downtown Seattle for Cicada Bridal, which was a locally owned, women-owned bridal shop. And so I worked for them as a seamstress and a salesperson for about 3 years. Learned a ton. My sewing skills just got even more and more refined. And then I went to grad school and got a master's in art therapy. And you're nodding your head. It's like it keeps going on.
I can
it
answer
goes
these
on.
questions.
Yeah, and then like one does with a master's degree in psychology, I went to work for myself as a wedding dress designer for 6 years. So I had my own wedding dress design company and studio, and did that until I moved back to Washington.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she designed, created, sewed beautiful, beautiful, one-of-a-kind custom gowns, just incredible.
You know, I think there's a power in textile arts that is underappreciated, or maybe not underappreciated, but understated in society. I think.
Agreed.
You know, you look at, I mean, even just clothes. You know, look at the difference. You know, when you're well dressed, when you go to an event and everybody's dressed up. Look at the Met Gala. I mean, that's an extreme example, but you know, there is not just power in it, but there's comfort in it. You know, like when we talk about quilts and our family quilts, but then there's also the other side of it. Like you go to the quilt shows, and they transcend anything you could ever possibly think of as quilting. They are sculptural, you know, and it's the same techniques, just at different levels of refinement of those same techniques, and I find that fascinating. I love it.
Yeah, same. I really love all art is like this, but for me in particular, the fiber arts just connect me to my ancestry. You know, it's just this older way of expressing and making things slowly.
Very cool.
I like that.
I think it does bring a connection, you know, like working on a piece that someone 2 or 3 generations ago started. I think it's a way to connect that I think some other mediums you can't really do that with. So
Yeah.
my 2 cents.
I'm going to make a comment about when Maggie was little. She was sewing by hand, I think maybe starting around 6. And like she said, making Barbie clothes. But her first outfit she made was 2-dimensional. And I'm going to
Except we
throw
put it on a
I'm
three-dimensional
gonna
body.
throw somebody's name out here. It was Trisha Carpenter, right?
I think
So Trisha Carpenter and Maggie were upstairs sewing. And oh, by the way, Maggie would get home from school and she would go upstairs and sew. And I would be downstairs in the kitchen cooking or whatever. And I used to say Maggie could sew 100 miles an hour and the house would shake. I mean, she would just push that fabric through and anyway, so she and Trisha made these little tops for themselves. And they were 2-dimensional. And I had gone downtown to get my hair cut. And they show up at the beauty shop in these 2-dimensional little tops.
Are we talking like what you do for like paper dolls, like with the tabs that you?
No,
I think so. I think we like laid down and traced around ourselves.
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't remember
And then
them being so 2-dimensional. I thought they were pretty cool.
We didn't have any sides on them. There were
Like-
2 pieces of fabric, the same pattern,
The same shape.
stitched together and then put over their heads, and that is just such a visual in my head, and unfortunately for me, I was embarrassed.
Oh
you
man,
know.
I felt so cool.
Oh yeah, she felt so cool.
It was this really cool, like black and white
And pink,
speckled-
hot pink.
No, it wasn't hot pink.
Oh,
Black and white speckled fabric.
Well,
I think you remember
I
in the
have
hot-
this visual of hot pink, so maybe I made that up because it was part of the
I had a different.
embarrassment.
Oh,
No,
that was the
I
color of your cheeks.
I don't know, but anyway, it was really really fun seeing her skills evolve.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think around high school I made one similar. It was for a Renaissance fair.
A crop top.
No, it wasn't a crop top, but it was for a Renaissance fair, and I found this old, sort of natural linen.
Yeah.
And I just laid down on it and had someone trace me, left a few inches around it, made 2 of them, sewed them together, used a shoelace to tie up around the neck, and darn if I didn't look like a pirate. I love that shirt.
Yep.
Yeah. So, Maggie, do you currently have a studio?
I sort of have I sort of have a studio. I have a home office where I work online on the computer to see clients. But that room has also doubled as a studio of sorts. And I made another note here, like, because the studio that it was for painting, but my medium changes, every so often or frequently. Sometimes it feels like frequently. There's always fabric and textiles. So I do have a space downstairs in my house that is permanently set up for sewing when I want to pop in there, but it's not very organized right now. But the upstairs has kind of been this evolving studio space for painting, and collage, and now it's kind of it's yet to be the next iteration. Always there's knitting going on, but I don't need a studio for that. So yeah.
How different would art be for you if you didn't have a studio?
I don't think it would be that different, because there've been a lot of times in my life that I didn't have a studio. I mean, it's really only since I moved here that I've had my own personal studio. When I lived in Boulder and I was running my business, I had a studio, that was for the business, but for my own personal work, I grew up making art on the kitchen table, the dining room table, the floor, and I still do that. I actually still prefer to cut my patterns out of fabric on the floor. So I think the difference now is that I don't have to clean up my mess. But I don't know, you might argue with that when you come to my house. Like, there's probably always just stuff going on art-wise and material, supply-wise. So
But that's
I
what
don't know.
people used to say when they came to our house. here in Chewelah on Flowery Trail that they would come to our house and there was always, always some art project
Yep.
going on.
Yep.
So
Still kind of like that.
yeah. So Maggie describes her office space as doubling as a studio. So I remember going into this office space studio the first time, maybe six years ago, 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And she paints on big canvases. And so she had the canvas taped to the wall. And the paint had dripped off the canvas onto the wall.
Onto the painted wall.
Onto
the floor.
Yeah. And I just about came unglued.
And this was in your house?
No, it was in
this
Maggie's
in my
house.
In your house. Was it
I
a
don't-
rental or was it yours?
It was mine.
Oh, see? Whatever.
Yeah,
It's
well,
hers.
whatever, Chuck. It's not whatever with me. It's like, but, after that first time of seeing that, I've let that go. But the first time was really shocking.
We have a saying in our household that describes exactly what you just talked about. Patina is permission.
Patina.
Patina is permission. If it's spotless, then you're gonna freak out every time. But it's sort of like also the broken window analogy. I guess the broken window
I don't know that.
thing. Basically, what it is, if there's a car sitting out, in a parking lot, abandoned, if it stays untouched, nobody will touch it. If there's a broken window, within 24 hours, that car is going to be stripped down to nothing, and it's going to be completely trashed. Same with a building. Same with an art space. If you're pristine and you keep it all pristine, you're going to keep it pristine. But once you get that first mark, then you're like whatever, and that's when the creative juices start to flow.
Totally.
Yeah.
And that's why if you're in a space, just get it messy at the beginning and don't worry about it, and just give yourself permission to be messy.
Yeah.
That's what I say.
Agreed.
But,
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, I was speaking with an artist not too long ago, and I was telling that story because it's a significant story for me.
yeah.
It says more about me than it does Maggie, but it was a significant story for me, and so I was telling her, and she was intently listening, and then she said, "Oh, my studio's not like that." She said, I paint, and then I put everything away, and I wash my brushes, and it's really tidy. I thought, okay, well,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the differences. So, Maggie, what do you enjoy most about doing your art?
Probably, it's an outlet. It's a way to express myself. So, to not get emotionally or mentally constipated. I make stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's stress relieving for me. Recently, within the last couple of years, I've been diagnosed with ADHD. So my constant need to knit makes sense to me now. It's like it's a form of self-soothing for sure. Just keeping my hands busy. So it meets a lot of needs.
Like a stimming almost. Like a
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very familiar.
Mm-hmm.
For me, that's my coffee cup, I think.
Instead of biting my my cuticles, I knit. Yeah.
See, you put it into something constructive and productive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. In art therapy terms, we would call that sublimation.
See, there you go. There you go.
Sublimating the hard feelings into something good of product.
Right?
Right?
Do you have a lot of pieces sitting around that you just work on just to keep busy that you don't really do anything with, or do they all end up being incorporated into something else?
But no. There it's ever evolving. Things are sitting around that I pick up and cast aside. Yeah.
It's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of what the first part.
A lot of making something to keep your hands busy, and then it ends up in a pile.
Yes.
That's fair. That's
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a perfect segue into talking about your process painting. So you want to talk about that?
Sure. Process painting is something that I discovered during COVID as a formal practice. I discovered it during COVID when I went to the virtual American Art Therapy Association conference. So that was one of the panels that I listened in, or workshops that I went to, was on process painting. And really it's about, so this is where the paper comes in. So you paint on paper as to make it a little less precious. You usually work with tempera paints. I don't like to work with tempera paints, so I just use my acrylics. And it's kind of like a meditation practice. You just approach the page without an agenda, and make a mark and see where that takes you. And so my experience, the way that I describe my experience of process painting is kind of like, I don't know, it's almost like lucid dreaming. It's like the images that seem to come out are very dream-like, in their colors and their shapes. You know, they're not necessarily things that you would just come up with, like, I'm going to go to the paper and paint this wild thing. It just kind of evolves into that. But lucid dreaming, meaning you're there, you're like able to kind of be in the process and guide the process a little bit. But it's every time it's incredible what comes through, you know. It very much reminds me of dream work, or dreaming and then dream work.
So you don't sit down with something in mind. You just
Correct.
Sit down and just start going.
You just kind of go with the first impulse, and you follow that impulse. So then it's like a dialogue between you and the painting. You're making a mark. How do you respond to that? And then you're recording your response. I mean, this is very like, you know, it kind of happens more quickly and in a little bit more flow, but that's essentially what's happening.
That's kind of how I wake up and start my days. Along with my with also my ADHD diagnosis.
You process paint your whole life.
Right.
Yeah.
So describe from the beginning your process painting that you've been working on for what, a year?
I have a couple of them. Are you thinking about the purple octopus one?
Yeah.
Okay. So that painting started when I was working in a group with an art therapist online. And so she had some prompts that she took us through, writing prompts, reflective prompts. And we started by identifying tension. So I don't remember the prompt specifically, but it was something that we were thinking about in our life, and that we had to choose a color for that. And then from there we would choose the opposite color. And then that's how you start on the canvas and this particular painting was on a canvas. So it was just laying down these two different colors, and then going from there, like, what did I see in the colors? And it evolved really slowly over time. It ended up having a lot of images of the pelvis on the canvas, lots of magentas and dark purples and gold. And then the canvas became very, like, almost divided in half. Half of it was really light. The other half of it was more dark. And then at one point, and this evolved over the course of a few weekends. There was like some day-long sessions that I was working on this. And then at one point in there, I had a dream about an octopus, and there was already or maybe it was like the figure was already starting to show up in the painting, and then I had a dream about it. I think that's maybe what happened. And then after that, it just really took form. And the thing that I found interesting about this particular painting was it was like once I named the image, oh, that's an octopus, then it was like my ego got involved, and I had an idea about what an octopus looked like. And then the painting redirected me, and then that whole octopus got covered over. I can't remember what color, but she got all painted over. And then as I continued to work with it, she showed up again. But like she showed up in her truest form. It wasn't like my preconceived idea of what an octopus was supposed to look like. That's what she looked like, so that's what I called her, but she looked completely different. Do you remember that?
No.
Oh. Okay.
I might not have seen her then.
Yeah. Yeah.
And is that the one that's going to be at the art auction or the?
Well, that painting is gone. All that's
okay.
left, like the back of it, I started working on the back of the painting, and made this whole weaving on the back side of the painting, and then the front side of the painting where the octopus was got all torn away.
Oh yeah.
It's still in process.
Yeah. Well, like you said, you do paper, so it's not precious, right?
That was a canvas. No, that was a canvas.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but
Yeah, so more to the painting. So one time when I saw it, it was painted, and then she'd cut holes in the canvas. And she put shells in the canvas. And, I'm not an artist. I'm a promoter. I'm not an artist. And again, it was the shock. It was like the dripping off of the canvas. But this was, you cut the hole in the canvas. Yeah, so she cut the hole in the canvas, and then she put the shell in. And then one time, she cut the canvas, a third of the canvas off. And then she wove something in there. Mm-hmm. She would turn the canvas, it'd be, when I paint, it's always, I don't paint. But if I were to paint, it would always be the same direction.
Right.
But then Maggie looks at the painting, and then she turns the canvas, and then it's something else, and then she paints that. And then she turns, and then this time she turned it backwards. And then she worked on the back of the canvas. How does this happen? No, how does this happen?
You got to trust the process. Trust the process.
Process painting. So it's just, it's just ever inspiring to, kind of live with Maggie and talk to Maggie and see her painting and her evolution through all of her mediums. It's been incredible. So
you and I are doing a little art together these days.
We are. Tell them about that.
Oh, I thought maybe you'd tell them. So I have a writing group that meets every Thursday morning, and my mom has joined. So she's coming and writing and
Very
sharing.
Cool.
Yeah, it's fun.
You writing, Diane?
I am
She's writing.
That's awesome. Have you been a writer before?
Well, I've aspired to be a writer. I love to write. Probably my biggest claim to fame is that I write a lot of letters.
Yes, you do.
I do. So that is what I really love to do, is to write letters to people and write notes. And so, I've been doing that for, probably ever since I could write. And my mom said, you will write a thank you to your grandma.
Yeah.
And so I learned to write. And but yeah, I aspire to be a writer. I have a brother who's, maybe I have a couple of brothers, but I have at least one brother who's a writer.
Nice.
And so
I will have to say, just from a personal experience with you in writing, we did something for the radio station, and you wanted to write in hand thank yous for everybody. And sometimes in my modern computer-centric brain, I'm like, well, why couldn't we just send an email to everybody? Why, that's a lot of extra work. But then the response we got back from people saying, oh, thank you, we got Diane's letter. It was so wonderful to get a handwritten letter. And then through the Creative District, we got ours in the mail, and I got it. And I'm like, oh, this is wonderful.
Yeah.
So really, really appreciate it. And you actually got me to sort of stop and slow down and think, wow, sometimes we do have to write things in person. We do have to get the paper tickets for an event because some people actually want that, and it is really nice to have those things
Yeah.
in your hand.
Yeah, it's a dying art.
Yeah.
It's
It is.
It's really so, but I'm gonna keep it going as long as I can. But this writing class that I'm doing with Maggie is and she's really good. So there's there's a slowing down right from the beginning, and then there's a prompt, and then there's people from all over the country in this writing class, and so people choose to share if they want to or not. I told there's a writer here in town that I really admire, and I like to talk to him about writing. And I said that I'm not very confident because I write in simple sentences, and some of these people that are in Maggie's writing class their language and their descriptions are so descriptive. And when I listen to them, I'm like, no, I don't want to share, because mine are noun, verb, direct, object, kind of sentences, but. This local writer has said that that's easy to read.
It is.
It's so.
It is.
Anyway, I think he's just trying to build up my confidence.
And
but
I don't think you're giving yourself enough credit, Mom.
well.
You're always your own worst critic. Wasn't it Hemingway that wrote very, very short, simple sentences?
I think.
I'm pretty sure it was. He wrote very plain English, very.
I think you're right.
Short paragraphs. He didn't do a
Yeah.
lot of run-on stuff. Just very, very straightforward and to the point. And he was very popular. People loved his writing because of that. So.
Yeah, I'm remembering a comment that my process painter teacher said that's really stuck with me years ago, because a lot of the same stuff comes up, right? Like we make a mark or something starts to take form on the paper as a painting, and it's like, ooh, I don't like that. Or it's not good enough, or this doesn't look like a horse, right? Whatever. And he said, it's always so hard for us to appreciate and accept the way that we paint. And so, like, I would say the same thing to you. Like, it's as individuals, as individual creators, it's hard to accept the way that we express. But for others receiving that art, it's like beautiful. The writing I've heard from you has been wonderful.
Thank you. I had a really fun time with one of Maggie's prompts. It was about lists, and I am a master of lists.
Yep.
And I really got into that prompt, and that's the time I shared.
That was That was a really fun piece of writing.
Yeah, I told people all about the lists that I make, and the lists of the lists, and the Post-it notes, and the
And
That was fun.
lists, they go down into what we call the land of never ending almost, where you have your big list with like 4 things, and then each one of those things gets broken down into 8 tasks, and then each one of those 8 tasks gets broken down into 16 tasks, and before you know it, you get down to the end, and it's the land of.
And then you're just like, better not even.
Or the land of agonizing almost. You're almost done, but then everything keeps breaking down into a bigger and bigger list.
Yeah. So speaking of writing class, last week Maggie had on this T-shirt, and I quote, "Let art flow through you, hot and slow."
Let art flow through you like lava.
Oh, I forgot that part.
Hot
I couldn't.
and slow.
those words must have been in the crease.
Yeah.
Oh,
You just gave that sentence a whole different meaning.
Like
Diane.
right, right.
Oh.
No, like lava, people, like lava.
oh, well, yeah, whatever. So, do you have any parting words, Maggie? Did I not cover something that was really important to you?
I don't think so, Mom. This was fun.
Yeah.
It
You
was
didn't
fun.
ask me what my hobbies were.
Oh, I thought you told us that in the beginning. So let me ask you that now.
Oh.
What are your hobbies?
Oh, knitting and reading.
Yeah, she's a prolific reader.
Pretty
oh
much
my gosh.
what I like to do in my free time.
Yeah.
Knead
Yeah.
and writ.
Need and writ.
Knead and writ.
I love it.
Knead and writ. Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, thank you so much for
Oh.
coming out.
I do have one
Thank
last
you.
question for you
Oh,
that I want to
okay.
find out that we didn't touch on. You talked a lot about your grandparents and their influence in your art lifestyle. What about your parents? How I mean, it sounds like they gave you they furnished your art as a kid. They gave you the supplies and the tools. How important was it to have them
Oh my
around
God.
growing up? For
Oh
your
my
art?
God. Absolutely. Absolutely. Totally. 100%. 1000% important. I took it for granted for a long, long time. I mean, like when I decided to go to art school,
Mm-hmm.
out of high school for college, I got no questions about that. It was just like, yeah, you go, bird. You just like go spread your wings and major in art.
That's awesome.
It was totally awesome. And my both of my dad's a doctor, my mom was more of an academic. And for them to be so astute and attuned to their kids who are totally different,
Mm-hmm.
it was a huge gift. Huge gift. And not just like, oh, that's nice that you're doing that, but like, oh, here, let me get you more of that, or let's get you into lessons, or let's drive you to Spokane so you can, it's just never ending support.
That's awesome.
It was so awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, I
You're
was going to say,
welcome.
do you have anything
Thank-
you'd like to say to your parents right now?
Yeah, thanks, Mom and Dad. I hope you're listening.
Oh, he's
you guys
listening.
have been
If he's not, oh,
You guys have been just incredible supports for both of us. My brother's an artist too.
yeah. And,
Awesome.
people, I'm soliciting art for the art auction. And once in a while, people will ask me, am I an artist? And I always say, no, I'm a promoter. So I promoted for my kids. I promote for the local artists here in town. That's what I do. I promote art. And I love doing it. So,
I will say, Chuck, since you asked, and in response to that, Mom, you say that you're not an artist, and I know I've argued with you about that sometimes, but I will say this in retort, that you are incredibly creative.
You are.
Incredibly creative in the way that you problem solve, in the way that you stay flexible, in the way that you work with people, in the way that you get involved. And I hope that you can hear that.
thank you.
Oh.
So this ended as a really different interview that I probably will never have with another person, to be so complimented at the end. So I want to thank Maggie again for coming up and letting me interview her. This is Artists on the Air, and we do need to give credit, Chuck, to Craig McQueen,
Yes. Yes.
who did our little intro music so generously. And
He is awesome. He's
Yeah.
he's been huge for the station. He's been huge for music and art in general in the area. Works tirelessly not to promote just himself, but without asking for anything in return, promotes everybody else and just the music scene in general here. So huge thank you to Craig McQueen, the whole McQueen family,
Yes.
and all of our local musicians for everything they're doing, and for making Chewelah we're sort of becoming this
Kind of
little,
rad.
this
these
little
days.
music hub of Eastern
I know,
Washington,
it's
and
pretty
I
cool.
am digging it. I love it.
Yeah.
So thank you
Yeah.
guys so much for that.
Yeah, Doug and Sally, I don't know how long they've been doing music and been doing music together, but, they're incredible. I don't know if the story is true, but I heard, maybe this is a legend, I heard that Doug was playing somewhere one night and the bass player didn't show up or whatever, so Sally grabbed the bass, and that's how she learned to play the bass.
Oh my gosh.
Is that how they met too?
No.
Oh, okay,
No.
okay.
I think they've been together for, I don't know, 100 years.
For eons,
Eons.
100
Yeah.
years.
since time was.
Yeah. So thank you, everyone, for listening. And thank you, Maggie, for sharing your story.
Thank you for having me.
Tune in next week, same time, same day, for Artists on the Air, where we promote our local artists. See you September 18th at 4:30 at the brewery, 4:30 to 8. And come see art made by local artists. Thanks,
All right.
Chuck.
No problem. Thank you guys.
Okay.
That does it for today. I want to let everyone know to stay tuned right here tonight on KCHW from 6 to 9 p.m. rather for Dr. Jazz live in the studio. Then from 9 to midnight, we bring you the Soul Show with Mike Kenton. Tune in tomorrow morning right here on the KCHW Morning Show, where we welcome our special guest, Sarah Walker from 49 Degrees North, to talk about the Huckleberry Festival that's happening this weekend. And we hope you guys have a great evening. Thank you so much. Keep your radio tuned right here. Oop, missed the button.
Okay, we ready? Am I being recorded?
Oops, that's Bud.
Artists on the air.
I got the wrong recording.
Listen in.
That was the
Chewelah
wrong
Arts
recording.
Guild and KCHW
tell you later.
102.7 bring you Artists on the Air, here to present their local flair.